Ladies and gentlemen, we are back from our summer hibernation. Well, me and Matty anyway, and Dawn, obviously, you love the flat. And quickly, Matty, you come out of hibernation shortly for a ride and a charity race, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I got the pleasure of riding a charity race. Finished third, had an absolute great time, and I got me hooked. I'd love to do it again.
Good stuff. And Dawn, obviously, you love the flat, but we're back for Galway. And what does Galway mean to you?
It means a lot, Joe. I mean, we haven't been lucky down there with our own horses, but it tells you a lot and you learn a lot. So it's great crack. There's always plenty, and Shark will allude to that. Galway is the place to be next week. It's the only place to be. I love the flat. I love glorious Goodwood, but you have to be at Galway.
As you can see, viewers, as you can see, we're joined by John Hanlon, also known as Shark. Shark, great to see you. You had a good day?
We had a great day. It was fine. It's a change.
And you're looking forward to Galway next week?
Yeah, looking forward to Galway now. We've done a lot of work with horses yesterday, and they got a day off today, and tomorrow they're going to the beach. And we'll have to see how they all are. But they seem to be in good form. Hewick is there. He's in right form. I came out today. Brian Hughes rides him.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with that. Brian rides on my horses over in when I go to England and that, and he's champion jockey for the last couple of years. So I see this evening on Twitter lads are saying that they couldn't back him now because Brian's a very good jockey.
No, he is. He's top class. He's a bit underrated over here, even though he's champion jockey.
Yeah, he is. He's a very, very good jockey, and he's a great head, and that's most important.
Surf. And before we get into the Galway play on the hurdle, Shark, if you don't mind, what does Galway mean to you Irish? I mean, it's massive, isn't it?
It's the Cheltenham of England for us. You know, I know it's during the summer, but there's great racing in it, and the atmosphere, the crowds, everyone dreams about it. So everyone wants to have a winner in Galway, and including myself. Now, we're after being lucky enough over the years that we always come over there with a winner or two winners. But if you go to Galway and you have a winner, it's great. If you have two winners, it's a big bonus.
It's a big party atmosphere, isn't it? I imagine there was a big party on the after the plate last year. Can you remember it?
I remember after the plate, and I don't remember anything then for a day.
Party continued on for a year.
I know the next morning at 8 o'clock, I was sitting in a hotel only on the way home, and the owner landed out 2 bottles of champagne where I was staying. So then we decided we'd have a champagne breakfast before we go to bed. So that was the way it started. Thursday started. So hopefully it'll be like that again this year. It'll be brilliant.
Well deserved. And you only live once, don't you, Shark?
Yeah. Listen, I say you're only young once. I want to be as young as long as I can be.
And Dawn, are you there all week next week?
No, yeah. I'm coming down, especially for Hewick for the plate. Once I heard the main man, I had the privilege last year of actually being in the parade ring, and I have never, you know, the way they talk about Denoli and everything. Well, that was, I'd say, better than Denoli. Just everybody there, and even our little president, seeing him just carried away and captivated, because like I say, Hewick is, as we spoke about Honeysuckle being our national treasure, Hewick is our other national treasure. And I'll be there for the plate, I'll be there for the hurdle, and I'll be joining the Hanlon party bus because I have strong feelings. Hewick,
you're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Put
on your drinking boots, will you?
Oh, definitely. And I'll be down in the green as well after that party you put on for us at the open day. By Jesus, it was just mighty. It made my year. It absolutely made my year.
You did.
I love, and the Chabolet kept flowing. Chabolet and Hewick in the background. What more do you want, Clive?
Much more could anyone want.
Matty, obviously, busy time of year, like I said earlier. All the horses are back in over at Ben Paulin's yard, so you've got plenty to go at. Have you had a chance to look at the Galway plate and you've got a strong fancy?
I've got quite a strong fancy. I think Born by the Sea could run a massive race. around 20 to 1. Obviously, it was 6th in the Grand National, where he ran a massive race off 143. That was his English mark. I think he's off 138 over in Ireland. He likes Galway too. He was only beaten 4 lengths in a decent handicap there last year. I mean, he was behind Gabby's Cross, Van der Blues and Bustleton. I mean, that's pretty solid form if you ask me. And I like the fact he had a spin on the flat at Fairyhouse a few weeks before that race last year. He's done exactly the same this year. He's had a spin on the flat this year. So it looks like this race is in mind. Whether they use Right or they claim off it again. But he's £2 higher than Galway last year. He was only beaten 4 lengths. I think 20 to 1 for a horse that looks like he's been absolutely primed for the race. Looks a pretty solid each way bet. He was actually also, he was only beaten 1.5 lengths by Easy Game at the Stole, getting £10 last season. He'll be receiving a lot more weight than Easy Game when they meet in the Galway plate. And Easy Game's looking about 10, 12 to 1, born by C20s. There's value to be had there at 20 to 1.
Okay, big price for me. Before Dawn Shark shoot me down and tell me that this horse can't win, but I just fancy him at a nice price. Obviously, I'm not going to come in here and say Hewitt's going to win because Shark's going to do that before us. But I like Visionarian for Peter Farry. I think at a price, it's not a bad shout. I mean, he won the Grade 3 Novice Chase on this card last year. He returned in October in another Grade 3. He was second to one of Dawn's horses, adamantly chosen, giving away £7. Since then, he's been running with credit on the likes of Alfabiolo, Saint-War, Banbridge, and they're all good horses. Admittedly, he's not getting close to them, but he's up in trip here. He's never run this far, and it's his first time in a handicap. I just think he could be kind of like he's been aimed at this. He had a nice prep run over hurdles. His first run over hurdles since February 2022. As I said, improvement over this trip. Aintree kind of like got done for toe, so I think the extra 2 furlongs here will definitely help him. At 25 to 1 for a far heat, I think a great shot for Visionarian. Obviously, he could be playing for places behind the legend that is Hewitt. So, Dawn, for those people that don't know, everyone knows Hewitt, but sell Hewitt.
Sell Hewitt. Well, he's the fairy tale horse, isn't he? Like, he cost a mere 800 odd euros. He is dream stuff. Shark told everyone last year very kindly he was going to win the plate. Did we listen? No. He took him to America. He was going to win in America. Did we listen? A lot didn't. A lot did. And what I often say to people is as well, the lads couldn't use a stick over in America. So as many debates as there does be going on about how many you can use, how many above, and how many bans have been handed out and everything, remember, Jordan and Davy couldn't use their stick over there, and Hewitt was still able to lift the roof in the American National. He was in Otay, and what he did at Sandown with Rachel as well. He's just, and the relationship, you see, he's a family horse. And I heard Shark you saying earlier that your mum and dad are going down again as well, and like that's what we love to see. He is our national treasure. He's box office, and he is what's getting a lot of people down to the Galway play. I think I've heard a lot of mine. Even my postman says he's taking the day off to go down. And I mean, we're very close to Shark, but we're not that close to Galway, you know, that way. So he's amazing. And Brian Hughes is up this time, and he is a decent jockey. And I think we're the Twitterati. Let them keep talking. Because at the end of the day, the horse is doing the talking. And again, as well, Paddy O'Hanlon a couple of weeks ago, A Star Is Born. We've seen him win, and the relationship he has with Hewitt as well. If that doesn't melt your heart, you're made of stone. So to me, the plate is Hewitt's. I do have a little bit of each way play, but I want fairy tales and romance. That's what I'm all about. And Shark keeps delivering that with Hewitt.
Yeah, I always go Sandown Finale Day, and last year when Hewitt came, you wouldn't be surprised the amount of people who actually came, like you said, Galway. They go Galway to see Hewitt and Rachel. they came to Sandown to see Hewick and Rachel. It was unbelievable, and it was a great end to the season. I thought it was absolutely superb, and Sandown's my favourite track. See Hewick and Rachel around there, it was just class. I mean, I presume we could speak about Hewick all day. In great form, Shark.
He's in great form, but like it's amazing. In Galway was unreal. There were 10, 12 deep around the ring. Sandown was the same. But when we went to America, I was standing at the race, at the rail, and before the race started, and two people came up, shook hands with me, and they said, "We're after travelling 14 hours today to come up to see the horse." You should see the crowd. That there was about 8 or 10 of us in it. But when the race was over, there was 400 or 500 Irish that were in America, and they were singing. You know, we were all singing, but America was amazing, so it was, because like people, you go over, you knew no one, and after the race, you knew everyone. Right before the race, people were coming, shaking hands. He's an amazing horse. Like he seems to pull it out. He hits a flat spot every day, and in Sandown, I warned Rachel. I said, "Listen, he's going to hit the flat spot, so just make sure and be awake when he hits it." And she was brilliant. And she said, like, he did hit the flat spot, and she thought she was beaten. And she said after 7 or 8 strides, she thought that she was only after jumping into the race. And he does that the same in the Gold Cup in Cheltenham. I know he fell, but I think he would have been second. I honestly do, because he came off the bridle. Jordan was so disappointed. He came off the bridle, and he said the reason he fell, he said 2 strides before the fence, he came back on the bridle. And like from there to the line, we know he stays 3.5 miles. He would have been staying. And with a bit of luck, I think he would have been second. We're going back again. People said last year I was stone cracked going for the Galway plate, that it wasn't far enough. But he nearly made the run last year. So like he's a kind of a horse that you can do what you like with. You can drop him in. If something wants to go too hard, let him on. We won't be worried about the pay. The horse in it that I'd be most afraid of, I think, is an Escary, Barry Collins' horse. He the only thing that stops me from thinking that he might be is that he only has 2 or 3 runs over fences. And the old saying in Ireland, to win a Galway plate, you have to have 6 or 7 runs.
Yeah. And
that's the only thing that I'm half delighted in. He has 2 or 3 runs, because he's the horse. He's a class horse. He won a flat race the other day. Like a lot of these other horses are around a long time, and they're at the top of their handicap. Like Hewick he's a grade 1 horse in a handicap. You don't often see that in Ireland during the middle of the summer. And I know that he's going this year, and he's better than he was going last year. So that's all I can tell you.
We need to know. And hopefully there's no dramas like last year, the loose horse. I bet your hat was in your mouth, was it?
I shut my eyes. I thought that he was going out through the rail. But fair dues to Jordan Gainford. He was very good on him, and he kept the loose horse away. And listen, it's hard for Jordan Gainford to sit in the stand or stand in the stand and watch him run. But I tell you, Jordan is a gentleman. We went to France over to France, and Jordan, one of the first lads that may understand was Jordan. You know, like absolutely brilliant. That he is a great click with the horse, and I'd say he's very disappointed that he's not riding him, because he'd probably be back in 2 or 3 weeks' time. But he just didn't get cleared for Galway. But there's one thing about him: he'll be shouting for him, and there's plenty of other days.
And the whole of Ireland's going to be shouting for him, Shark, not just Jordan.
Yeah, well, when he fell in this stall last year, I was on the stand, and I came down out of the stand, and I said, "John, you're too old to cry, so don't cry." But the hush from the stand in the stall bed all out, and we brought in the horse in the back down the bottom gate, and there was a lot more people watching the horse coming in the bottom gate than there were the people watching the horse that won the race. You know, like he has a great following, and it's brilliant. people know they can ring me, they can come to the yard whenever they want. We had an opening day here, and that morning it opened the sky. I said at 8 o'clock that morning there'll be no one here because the rain that fell. But I was talking to people during the day after travelling from Donegal, from the bottom end of Cork, and they all travelled through the rain, but none of them turned back. You know, they all wanted to come, and we had probably 900 people here, and we looked after them the best we could.
Oh, it was incredible, Shark, and everybody that I met, because I do a couple of the other open days, everybody, the minute they hear that you've been, they light up like Christmas trees that they were down at yours. And what I found was like it was just so laid back. You could go in, you could stand with these superstars, and a lot of people I know, like the guys, I get a lot from my English followers as well, that say we can't do that over with ours, whereas like I think we're very spoiled here, and for you to open up the gates. But like when I was driving down in the rain, I went, and I was only coming 15 minutes, you know, down the road, the amount of cars, and Jordan parking us as well. I mean, no better man.
I had to give him a good job. I told him to be down early in the
Exactly.
morning, so I put him parking the cars, himself and the girlfriend. The two they were parking cars for 3 hours, so they were.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't ask me to reverse in. That would have been a big problem. But sure, even Jesus, like down to the other gallop, you put on coaches for us to get into and everything. So, you know, nobody had to even walk. It was just brilliant. And I'd say to anybody next year, if you can buy your €20 Ryanair flight now, get in there. You'll have them backing up in 6 months, Shark.
I hope we have half as good a year as we had last year until those. You know, and like Paddy is riding there, as you said. Paddy is riding now in bumpers and that. That's another good kick. Like last year, a Galway play at a bet 365, go to America, win America, and then Paddy went to Dingle and won the Dingle Derby. So, and then my brother won the Greyhound Derby. So, it was just a year that everything went right, and 9 times out of 10 something goes wrong. But last year, thanks be to God, everything went right. And hopefully it'll be the same this year.
Good stuff. Good. That's the play. Are you okay to stay for the Galway hurdle, Shark? Or
yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the Galway hurdle before we come online, Matty, won't we? You were saying how easy it is. You found the winner.
An absolute minefield.
Who'd you fancy?
It's a toss up between Glan and Brazil, both JPs. You know he's gonna throw enough at it that one of them's gonna pop up. I just think they both still look pretty well treated. Glan 135, bits of form here and there, but I probably prefer Brazil. Obviously, he upset the Mullins apple cart years ago, and was it the Triumph or the Fred Winter? I can't remember what it was. Fred Winter.
Yeah.
It was Gaelic Warrior. And obviously, we know how much of a good horse that's turned out to be. Wasn't that long ago Brazil was beating Phil Dorr. Obviously, another solid yardstick. And I just think 141 at his mark. He's probably got a few pounds in hand there. I mean, all know what JP's like with a Galway hurdle. He'll have 17 in it with 17 different coloured hats. So, yeah, Glan in Brazil, but my main selection is Brazil.
Okay, you're not worried about he's lost his way a bit?
Well, that's the thing. Possibly, you know, they say them juveniles never train on and all that malarkey. But he was beating a 2-horse race last time. Was it last time he was beating a 2-horse race? He was 1 to 5, whatever. Them 2-horse races, they're just pure luck, really, aren't they? It's all cat and mouse and tactics go out the window and what have you. So put a line for that 2-horse race, and I still think 141 he could be well treated.
It's a race where class can come to the fore. I mean, there's plenty of these with question marks to answer, Dawn, isn't there?
Oh, plenty. I mean, there has been whisperings on the grapevine about Brazil, but it could be just whisperings. I don't forget the Boodles, I really don't. And I certainly don't forget the horse that was second to him. He's exciting for next season, but or the season coming. He's still a colt, Brazil, as well. You know, I often bring up this question. Is it going to really affect him? I don't know. It's the word on the grapevine, because I mean, if you look at the last few races, you kind of go, oh Jesus, I couldn't touch him. I couldn't touch him at all with a barge pole. But as I always say, then I go against myself. A good horse is always a good horse. So a little each way play there. I like Tudor City. You know, I was going to go this direction. Loved him Derby weekend in the Apprentice Derby. He loves a bit of cover. He's carrying 10-10. He's 14-1. You know, the Yateses, they grind and they grind and they give. Again, he's a favourite, and I think that race should be renamed after Tudor City. Once you see that big white noseband come and you go, there's Tudor. Lee McKenna will be back up on him as well. I'd say he's got 2 Galway hurdles under his belt. 14-1, tasty enough. Party Central, I heard Gordon speak tonight. He says that the ground needs to come up a bit drier for her. She beat Jessie Evans at Bellierstown, and they're talking a lot about Jessie Evans. I don't know exactly where that's going. I know there's an entry on Monday as well, but her win at Bellierstown, Party Central, again, she's another Yates. I cannot forget Punchestown Festival, not this year, last year. You'd Instant in there, you'd Brides Hill, you'd Dino Blue, then go back to the novice mares at Cheltenham, Love Envoy, Impervious. So Party Central, I have waxed lyrical about her non-stop. She finally came back out, her flat campaign. Obviously, this was her other campaign, but Tudor City for the romance, Brazil for the bit of the nutty bet, Party Central, and I do have to mention Zarek the Brave as well. I'm going to mention all of them at this stage, but Zarek the Brave, he's the only grade 1 in this race. Am I right? Is that what they're saying? You've got Lossie out form. Also went over to Otai and was third to Galamarcou. So very, very interesting for the double greens. So Tudor City, I would love to see win again, obviously. And then throw Party Central and Zarek the Brave in there as each way play, and Brazil for a bonkers bet.
I've seen plenty tipping up to Cal, but maybe in the Fred Winter, Cal was backed as if losing was never going to happen. He seemed to boil over it. I mean, that's a big issue for the Galway hurdle, isn't it? A horse that boils over sharp, because it can be a bit fast and furious at the start, can't it?
It can, and the Galway hurdle with the crowd and everything. I know they'll probably bring him into the ring late and things like that, but a horse to boil over, Galway is not really the place to be. No. I put a line through him because of that. I fancy a horse no one said anything about. It's Gilligan's horse, Buddy Wan. He ran a cracker in entry with a young lad, his own young lad riding Claimant 7 at the time, first ride around Cheltenham and everything, or around entry. His form is good, very consistent. He's only 5 minutes down the road from Galway, and he's the horse that I think now JP will have, as she said, probably 10 or 12 horses in it, and Willie will have a bun of them as well. But they're like Paul Gilligan, it's like myself. I'll shout him the whole way to the line because he's a small man, and for him to go in a Galway hurl, living 5 minutes down the road, we'll all lift the house over it if that happens.
And that stories like that happen at Galway, as you know, Shaq.
It can happen. It can happen in Galway. It's one place that you can get funny results. Like the ground at the moment, I was just looking at the forecast for the next few days. We're going to get another drop of rain, but Galway missed a lot of the rain. I'd say the ground in Galway Monday will be good to yielding, and there's no rain coming, I'd say, for a couple of days then. So again, the end of the week there could be water in Galway. So I'd say that you'll have good to yielding ground for the first couple of days. I'd be hoping that we'll have good ground on Wednesday, but it looks like that the rain seems to be gone. And Galway dries up quick now. It dries up quick, so and they haven't watered it. They watered it a month ago and they stopped watering it. And like you have a better surface without watering a track. You have safe surface. I hate these water tracks because the water the tracks a couple of inches off the top of the ground, and next thing when they go below that is like the road. But water that falls, it falls much more leveler.
Okay. As always, it's all a competitive race to hurdle. The one I like is very interesting. Is Bialystock, I think that's how you pronounce the name. Willie Mullins, for Rich Ritchie, third on stable debut.
Listen, you have Willie there with Willie's going to have 10 in this, I'd say, so he is. So like Whicham, you know, Emmett Mullins' horse has a right chance in it as well. I'd say the last couple of runs you could ignore him. And you say Suder, he'll come with his run. If it's going to be good enough this year, I don't know. Captain Comby as another horse that I give a little chance. It's an open race. When you see 6 or 7, what's the bet now? 6 to 1 the field. Lads, you could have a 20 to 1 winner as handy as a 6 to 1 winner. Yeah. You know, so it's a race to sit back and enjoy. Back, I don't believe back in the Lake of Distress.
I'm with you about Merlin Giant though, of Emmett's Shark. I kind of he likes Galway. You know, last year he was second and he won there.
He did. He second. He won. He likes the track. His owners have a lot of winners in it. I've the same owners with horses here, and we've two nice horses for him again this year. If you hope and go to Galway, you'll always have a winner for him because they're very good people, very good owners, and like they never leave you short of Bob. They just send them a bill, you get paid, and the like of them people, you'd like to see them going to Galway and have their winners.
I'm surprised you don't fancy Bialystock Dawn because I really like him. The handicap he won last time out, he beat Tax Max, Takal, Phil Dudaris, Glan, Brazil, Merlin Joya, Cashback. He's beaten them all, and I think he's possibly still improving. And I think he's quite well handicapped off his mark.
Yeah, he can be very, very well handicapped. There could be a few of these horses of JP's and well handicapped again too. But listen, there's a lot of them there. They're there a while, and they won't improve £15 or £10 if they're able to win off maybe £3 higher or £4 higher than their mark. That's it, and that's the way the Galway hurl is. You'll never see a horse left out for a Galway hurl that has a stone in hand. No, it just don't happen.
No. And Shajar's going the beginner's chase. I hear.
Yeah, I listen. At the moment, you don't know what's going anywhere because they're all entered here and entered there, and you wouldn't bloody know. I was looking through dentist there a half an hour ago and I gave up, so I did because I have horses. I have 10 horses in one race on Monday. None of them will get in. You know, like so. The handicap. This is like the handicaps in Galway is about £5 from top to bottom. So like it's and when you have a handicap with £5 or £6 in it, you don't know.
No. Hence, that's why we're just covering the two races, the main races. Matty, have you anything else that you want to add?
Well, I think we're sending one over there.
Oh wow!
I think we're sending your darling over.
Oh, nice.
I wish more would send. Why don't? Oh no, there's no answer to this, Shark. But why don't we send many over to Galway?
Because they're not good enough.
I'm glad you said it.
And I don't mean to be rude, but like a lot of the English trainers have the good horses gone out for the summer.
Yeah.
Like, and they mind their horses for the winter, and they don't bother with, and it's great prize money. Just the prize money in Galway is unreal. Every day, the prize money is like you probably have more flat hunts coming over than you do national hunt. But like, England are finding it hard to beat us in Cheltenham, or any day we go when you see Gordon going to Perth or whatever the case may be. And I'd say they'd rather stay behind and win a race in England than come over and finish 5th or 6th or 7th in Ireland. And that's the way it is. You know, like Willie Mullins is a brilliant trainer. He is an unknown trainer, but he has the power and he has the people to buy the horses. And like our game over here to win races in Ireland is very, very hard. And like that's the reason that I've 2 runners. Well, I was to have 2 runners in the Oxford tomorrow, and things didn't work out this morning, so they don't run. But the 2 of them would have went over there and finished in the first 2, you know, or 3. Anytime we ever go over, we'd always have a winner and a couple of placed horses. And like, but you have to because it costs money to go over. But like some of the horses I've here, I couldn't take on Willie with, you know, or Gordon. Like they have such a team of horses. And fair dues to them. They're putting the money into the game. like they're buying the horses, putting the money into the game, and they deserve to have the winners. But like for us to take on like some of their horses, like my price is about 20 grand. We don't give much more than 20 grand for any horse, and it's very hard to take on the like. If I have a good horse here, will he come in and buy him off me, or Garner come in and buy him off me? So like that's the way it is.
Yeah, that's it. Dawn, what about yourself? You got any other business of the week?
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna go quickly through, and then I have 2 questions for you, Shark, as well. I know I'm on a flatty filter ban, but I'm just going to say the 2 horses for Glorious Goodwood next week, Paddington and Blue Rose Cien. They're the best filly and colt in Europe, and I think they'll be a nice double. Mystical Power, Annie Power's son, is entered on Monday. There's arguments whether he is as good as they say. I truly believe he is. Samu of Gordon's is also in there too, who is closely related to Enable, and by Sayuni, who is Paddington's father. And I always say this and I always bang on until the cows come home. And last year, Country Queen came down at the second last in this race. It's the first on Galway Plate Day, the Galway Fantasy Maiden Hurdle. Threw up Champ Kylie last year, threw up Dawn Rising, threw up Asperti, who's your side of the pond now. I've been watching. I like High Class Hero in this, Willie's. I like Arabian Diamond of Gordon's, and a really talking horse, Wordsworth from Ballinrobe 2 days ago. I got into a couple of rows with people. Some people are already talking about him for the Martin Pipe. He was second in France. He, Shark, you know a little bit about him as well.
I bought him in Newmarket, and I got a phone call to know would I take profit, and I'm in this game for money. and I took profit, but he was a lovely horse, and the day I bought him, he's a horse that's after having an awful lot of problems, and if they have him back, he's a very good horse.
And what did you think at the run the other day, Shark? Because I got a lot of hammering, and I said an old cheek piece might help. Could I be wrong in that, or?
No, I think you're right, and I'd say it was a good race the other day. I'd say it was a right good race. I would probably wants better, maybe a little bit better ground as well.
Yeah, and I think this race that I'm talking about on the Wednesday, that kind of, I say it has the Midas touch. If he does run in it, I think he's one to track for the whole season now. But I was excited when I literally only seen he had the entry today, so I was going, brilliant. I can ask the man who went over and bought him, you know. So.
Yeah, no, I loved him, and they rang me then. John Halley rang me to know would it be possible, had I a customer for him, and at the time I hadn't. And he said to me, he said, I'll give you a bit of profit. He said, and John is a good fella. I know him. He works on a lot of horses of mine and everything, but he's a good fella. And I said, listen, there's more days than one. So hopefully, and Johnny would do you a turn tomorrow morning. I have a horse in that race on Wednesday, and he might just have a little bit still. I only bought him out of your lines. He's a horse raid, I think 94, 95, Felix Cowboy. He jumps very well, and I like him.
And Hallowed Star, Shark, is they're running on Wednesday as well.
He runs in the flat race Wednesday. Last year he didn't get into it. The plan was to run him on the Wednesday last year, and he was rated over 80, and we didn't get him in, and we went on and won on Saturday. And listen, he's in good form again. As I said, people the horns, we have to have the horses spot on for Galway, and he is spot on for Galway. So he'll run on Wednesday, and then he'll go on back for the race he won last year. He won a big 17 lengths or something last year at the hurdle race. So, and I think he's 6 or 7 pounds higher than he was last year. So with a bit of luck, he won't be far away either. Have a few horses there. They have a nice horse in the bumper on Monday evening as well. He was second in the £100,000 bumper in Fairy House, and he worked at the morning, and he worked very well. So we have a few nice horses for Galway this year. But as I say, if you can come home with 1 or 2 winners of it, you're flying. So yeah, it's so hard to win in Galway. It is so hard to win.
It's a long old trip home, Shark, too, when you've got, you know, your heart in your hands going home too, you know.
It's a long road for us, and now with the road shut around Port we have to go through
Oh, God.
Naas to go. We have to go through Naas to get to Galway. So
I know, and
we're going.
it's an endurance. And does Paddy have any rides?
Paddy rides in the GPT. He rides the horse that I was talking about, and I have to talk to the owner still, but I'm hoping he'll ride the horse in the bumper on Monday evening as well. So it'd be nice to get him off the mark. He's only 16, and for him to be a big thing, it was great to go to England and win over there. And he was unlucky he didn't win the second day over there. And for him to have a couple of spins in Galway, he's only turned 16, so he's enjoying it. Let him enjoy. He's tall, a bit like myself. He's tall, just not as heavy now, but he's tall, and he's going to find it hard in a couple of years' time. So let him enjoy it while he can.
Definitely. So, Matty, good to see you, mate, and at your hibernation, and we'll see you on the fight to follow before Chepstow comes, I'm sure.
Yeah, and let's hope your darling can nip over to Ireland and come back with all the winnings. That's what we're hoping.
Fingers crossed.
But
that's it. And Dawn, have a great week next week. I'm sure you will.
Definitely. We're bringing the party down, aren't we, Shark? That's
we'll take it from the roof. And
exactly. And
if Huey comes up the hill in front like he did last year, we'll knock down the place. I will never be the same again.
Never. Guinness galore.
I like it. I like it.
Obviously, viewers, thanks for watching. And Shark, absolute gentleman, giving your time to us. Much appreciated. And next time you're over here, and we're sure you'll be over here on plenty of Saturdays in the jump season.
Oh, we will.
There's a Guinness waiting for you at the bar.
I like it. Thanks, lads.
So the final word of the Hewitt.
Take care.
Final word of you, get on.
Cheers. Thanks very much. Cheers, everyone.
All right, well done. Thank you.